How long gone? The final European dispatch for the season. Chris Black coming to you live from the beautiful Grand Hotel in Stockholm. Jason is still somehow in Copenhagen. Are you okay?
No.
Okay, so Jason's coming apart at the seams. It's our final day. It's our final day, though, both of us.
It's our final day before. So you go back to New York tomorrow.
Yeah, I go back to New York tomorrow morning on a beautiful Delta flight direct to JFK. I'm going to kiss the ground when I land.
Mm-hmm. So I've been here for like basically 1 week.
Yeah.
And every single day I've been here has been freezing cold, raining, windy, gray skies at noon, gray skies at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
This morning, not a cloud in the sky.
Wow, we finally got what all these fucking people have been talking about.
So the one day where it's hot and sunny and warm and idyllic is the day where I will record and edit a podcast in a hotel lobby.
Well, I mean, this is the cards we are dealt sometimes. I mean, the weather, it hasn't been raining here, but I haven't seen the sun, just if that makes you feel any better.
A little bit.
And it's honestly insane the way that you people talked about Copenhagen like it was the greatest city on earth, a utopian society that we could never understand as Americans. And I went there and was like, yeah, this is like Stockholm if you injected 30% of Berlin. So I'm all good. I can just go to Stockholm and get what I want from this beautiful part of the world that we call Scandinavia.
Maybe we could say Copenhagen is good for Copenhagen.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it is. It's like, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I just the magic that people spoke about, I did not uncover.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I did everything I needed to do to find that magic. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it was strictly weather based. Do you feel like you uncovered the magic?
Yeah, it cost me about $1,700.
Okay, well, yeah, so I left. I came to Stockholm to see some friends and eat at 800 Degrees, my favorite pizza place. It's fucking smacking.
I had a good pizza last night as well. Friend of the show, Louise Chen, shout out to Louise, recommended a pizza place called Surt, S-U-R-T.
Surt.
Surt. The appetizers were not very good. They just found out about nasturtium, or I mean, no, they've been using nasturtium still, but it wasn't hitting. But I got the margherita pizza. I would be okay with saying it was the greatest margherita pizza I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow. I know
it was crazy.
You're not a Zaza head, but that's still big coming from you. That's amazing. Okay.
It was amazing.
800 Degrees
Stunning.
is a place here that it's cool because they have a slice shop that's like very popular because that's like New York style, and people aren't used to it. But there's
very nice.
The original location I went to last night with Barclay, and it has 4 pizzas on the menu and 1 salad. And I'm like, this is my dream restaurant. This is exactly how it's supposed to be done.
It's a dream restaurant as long as that salad delivers.
Salad, honestly.
And not like Domino's. I mean like flavor.
It was very interesting because the guy was like, oh, it's kind of like a Swedish, it's basically just cabbage with this kind of French Dijon dressing. And I didn't really understand what that meant fully. And then he brought it and it was so good. We ordered a second one. It was delicious.
Cabbage salad.
So simple and like refreshing, and it had a nice acidity to it.
Oh yeah.
So I was pleased. And then I also had a margarita, of course. The true test of any pizza.
Sure. Pizza, not a skinny girl.
No.
Yeah, we did one big kind of epic walk yesterday, all over town. Bit of a food tourism day.
God, dude, this sounds rough, man. Honestly, oof.
Yeah,
that sounds terrible.
The edibles kind of stopped working, or like my tolerance has increased, and I've had to like ration them. So
okay, so
I could take a 10 milli to the skull right now, and it won't do jack shit.
I think so you need to start out. You need to ask the bitchy gay guy at the hotel for some ketamine. Is that what we're saying? You've hit the end of the edibles, and you need to kind of step your game up for your therapy.
I just need to have some loud. I need flour. I'm looking for gas, and I have no gas. And I want to like get like stoned and then walk around and eat like interesting, cool food, which I did yesterday. I can't. And then like walk around a park and shit. It's beautiful. The best thing I did yesterday was walk around this cemetery.
Okay.
Amazing cemetery.
Wow. Okay,
what these
guy.
people do with dead bodies? I'm not even trying to goth cosplay. What these motherfuckers here do with the dead? It's a good vibe.
Damn.
I mean, it was very cemetery gates.
Okay, I'm back.
And all the tombstone areas have their own like little kind of hedge. There's like
Oh, that's nice.
bushes and trees and different plant life that gets planted right on top of the grave. So there's life coming on. But I guess if you plant a blueberry or something like that, is it bad to eat it? Because then it tastes like pop a little bit, or it has a little bit of pop DNA in it.
I would say I wouldn't want the pop blueberries on top of my yogurt.
But it's also very Scandinavian that even when you're dead, you kind of need a privacy hedge, HEJ.
Yeah.
Because you can't be bothered.
Can't be bothered.
But and the last thing about it, they'll have when like you'll go to some cemeteries and you'll see like the grandpa and the grandma are buried next to each other. They share the plot kind of thing.
Of course.
Very cute, very sweet. These ones over here, sometimes they'll have a gravesite that's smaller than an average American gravesite. It's not just the pickup trucks, it's the gravesites that are bigger here in America. But there'll be four heads in there.
So like a little family.
It'll be 4 or 5 motherfuckers in one grave site the size of one American grave. And I'm looking at it like we don't have coffins. Obviously coffins are not happening, but are they popping these motherfuckers in vertically like a little sausage into a baguette? Like, because they're not laying. There's no way they're laying flat.
Yeah, it can't be. It's impossible. That is interesting. I mean, I didn't know land was that valuable there. That you have to. Maybe the grave plots are very expensive.
Who's to say? I don't think they are.
That doesn't sound like a good day at all. But I'm glad you enjoyed it.
No, none of the days have been good.
You said
none have been good.
Did you have a good sausage?
No, not really. I mean, I went and got like the hot dog sausage thingy that you got to get. With the works, the crispy onions and it was fine, but I think I'm just America pilled as it pertains to flavors, but
yeah.
It was good. It was a good clean sausage, but it didn't scratch my wiener itch.
It's nothing to be excited about. Yeah, I went to a traditional Swedish restaurant when I got here that was very cool called like Tarnan, I think is how you say it. It was very chic. Like I really loved it.
Turn on?
But the menu was challenging.
It was the menu was a turn off.
Well, it was just kind of like I knew it was traditional, and Barclay was like, "It's fine." There's like fish, and guess what, Jason? I was able to get a white fish with bones in it, just like we were back in London. So that was nice. But there was like this weird. I guess it's a very popular dish here, where it's like shrimp tossed in like a mayonnaise dill style sauce, and then kind of put between 2 pieces of bread, but it almost feels like a potato pancake kind of thing.
Okay, so you had a shrimp salad sandwich, like a tuna fish sandwich, but it was shrimps instead.
Kinda, yeah. But the bread is really interesting because it's not. It feels. I thought it was like a roasty. I thought it was like a pancake. Like I thought it was like a potato, but it was just bread. But it was good. It was really good for one bite. And then I was like, I can't really eat this. Like I like the flavors, but it's just too much for me.
Too much mayonnaise and dill.
They just love dill here.
It's one of the small, bright beams of light that's able to come through the cracks.
I guess so. I mean, but yeah, it was a very cool restaurant, and I was happy to go. And I guess it's like it's been there forever. The interior was really cool, so I was happy to go there, and I knew I was
OG.
I knew I wasn't going to care about the food as soon as I walked 35 minutes there.
You don't come here for the food. You come here for the blondes, right? And I'm not talking about IPAs and session ales either.
I don't think they have a lot of session ales here. So that's probably safe to say.
Every day is a session.
Yeah.
But I went to the gym. I just got back from the gym again.
Best gym in the world.
The PP sign where it says "Go pee in the shower." I realized why that sign exists.
Why?
There is no bathroom there.
Oh,
like there's no toilets in the locker room.
Dude.
So you literally have to pee in the shower. There's no other place to do it.
This is a shocking discovery because I went there probably 4 times and did never have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have clocked that. But isn't that place great?
It's so good. They got everything, man.
They got everything. It's called Vesterbronx, which is a very strange name, and it has the Arnold Schwarzenegger room, which I posted on my story, which is like has a giant Arnold Schwarzenegger mural on the wall around some machines.
You already know he's puffing on a big cigar.
Several other pictures of Arnold kind of pepper the walls.
It does have a little bit of a young Republican kind of vibe, though. There's a lot of like Ronald Reagan photos on the wall. You know what I mean?
I don't think they know who that is, to be honest with you.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, it's just whenever you're at a German-ish or just kind of Aryan-ish gym, and you see like black and white photos of Ronald Reagan on the wall and things like that, it does give a little black and yellow Fred Perry kind of vibe, you know?
I don't know why I didn't feel German at all in there.
You know, it's like bearded kind of Viking dudes.
It is Viking, but I think that's Denmark.
But aside from the fact that everyone here is white as a motherfucker,
that's
it's
also
just
true.
Just in general.
That's also true.
I could have been projecting. Who knows?
But it's that gym, I'm going to think about that gym. That was the best part of the trip.
It was one of those gyms where you're like, I wonder if they have this random thing that I've only seen one time, like on Instagram. And like, yeah, we have 11 of those. We made them ourselves.
No, I mean, it's really something. Like, they got everything. It's so cheap too. It's like $5 for the day.
Yeah, $5.
Yeah, it's unreal, and it's right next to the hotel.
And no waiver, no security.
They don't give a shit about that.
Thingy.
They don't ask any questions. You tap your card and you go in and use it. More gym owners, if you're listening, please stop with all of these insane day passes, fees, and all this paperwork. Like, none of that matters. The one thing I learned in Copenhagen is gyms should be seamless, and it would make people. I think people would be more fit if it was easier.
More simply, we need clear, but for gyms.
Yeah, exactly. We need a scam that almost takes longer somehow to get us into the gym. That's what we need.
Speaking of Aryan Nation, we're staying right across the street from a playhouse where they have productions, theatrical productions. They've been pumping and marketing all over town the Sister Act play from the Whoopi Goldberg film.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And
I saw that.
I see it every day. There's like this beautiful kind of town square kind of bridge thing that you walk under, and it looks as if it's been, you know, is built in the 1500s or some shit like that. This amazing building, and it has this banner that some intern made hanging from it that just says Sister Act on it. That's it. No other information, just a logo from the movie Sister Act hanging.
Just a JPEG they ripped from Google.
Yeah.
Very simple.
And then I finally walked through and saw the proper playbill. And can you guess what ethnicity Whoopi Goldberg's character is here in Copenhagen?
I'm going to guess Whoopi Goldberg's character is looking not like Whoopi in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to guess she's 20 years younger and 100% whiter. Is that safe?
Yeah. You know those the viral TikTok video of like the two people who are making like the Euro dance, like the fake Euro dance kind of song.
Yes.
She kind of looks like that, or she kind of looks like a Sporty Spice kind of vibe. Like she's wearing kind of like tinted sunglasses and is doing like a pose as if she was, you know, about to sing on a Eurodance single instead of.
So did you buy a
church.
ticket, or is this just an observation before you?
I got a nice balcony seat. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's so affordable. I love to support the local theater. It's so affordable there. They care about the arts. You know, nothing I want to see more than a white chick do Sister Act for, you know, $100. Sounds great.
For $100.
Sounds great.
For 7,000 Danish kroner.
What is okay? Well, let's give the people what they want, because Jason did go to Noma to eat some bugs and leaves for $1,800. And we haven't spoken about it, partly because I don't care, and partly because we have to hold it for you, because it's more important that you hear it than anyone else. And by you, I mean listeners.
We hold it for you. I've been gooning my Noma take for the last 48 hours. It's been tough.
Let's start at the top though. Let's just give an overall before we get into the weeds. No pun intended. I'm sure you ate plenty of them. Let's kind of discuss maybe not a number rating, but on a scale, I guess we have to do it 1 to 10. And then also, is it going to be just a classic Jason? Yeah, it was fine. Is that a 6? Is that a 7? What are we looking at?
Well, I think the first problem is the reason why you can't ever rate it on a numerical scale like that is that it's unfortunately just on like a different plane of measurement. And I know that sounds awful and really cheesy and shit.
Okay. You said that the edibles didn't work anymore. You're clearly lying.
No, I mean it's just like,
bro, you went to a restaurant, ate food. Sorry, the guy did it differently and made it last longer. Pause. But like, don't. But that ain't. You went to a restaurant, ate dinner. Don't try to make this more than it is. You're falling for it, and I'm disappointed in you.
No. Let me come. I mean, I still feel as if I have to craft an entire written take, like for Substack.dk or something like that. Like, there's no way I can form, just improvise off my head how, the full breadth of the experience. But this will be
Jesus Christ.
So even though this is an exaggerated example and you're gonna roll your eyes even more, but it's since everything there is you're paying money to eat food that has never to taste something that's never been tasted before.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys for listening. How Long Gone is the website. We've lost Jason,
which is not a good.
We've lost.
That does not equate to being a good thing at all times. There were lots of mistakes and things I didn't like to eat there.
We need to get you back to California. This is dangerous. I'm calling a doctor.dk to come over there right now and have your head checked. Go ahead. I'm sorry. So while you were existing on another plane eating,
you need boots on the ground. Somebody come 5150 me because the flavors have got me. No, so it's kind of like when you in like the 60s, like JFK era, and they have a press conference. We found some alien UFO spacecraft or something like that, and you're like,
sure.
How old did the alien look? And you're like, well, I can't tell you because time doesn't exist, or like, how fast could their spaceship travel? It's
okay,
like, well, you wouldn't.
That's what you're.
It's on a different measuring system that doesn't exist for most, mere mortals walking around who haven't had the pleasure of eating at Noma.
Okay.
But a lot of it was bad.
I know.
I mean, just kind of off top, but everyone that I've talked to, no matter who it is, they have a very similar take, which is you say something that is like very, very kind but vague.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you sort of tidy that up with a negative take of some sort, which is like, like 5 different people gave me their take, and they're all something along the lines of like, it's a meal that still sits with me years after, but I don't want to ever go back again.
Yeah, sure.
Or something like you're not necessarily paying all this money to eat yummy food. It's an experience that transcends flavor, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, I've
which is all true.
Yeah,
but it hurts to have those words leave my mouth whole.
It's all true, but the question is. To you specifically, because we know you're a little tight. Was it worth the money? That's the real question. Was that experience worth the money?
Well, to me, that's the biggest conundrum, or the biggest problem with that restaurant, is that it is so expensive that the only people who can afford to go there are just shitty tech people and the clientele. The clientele that go in, and after having the pleasure and luxury of being able to eat at, a handful of these, 3 Michelin star world famous tasting menu restaurants. Like, I have never been to one of those where I wanted to talk to any single person in the building. And I think that's a little bit of that's the one downside for me, where you have to hang out with some of the worst cheesy people of all time.
But why are you talking to anyone? Like, I don't talk to other people when I go to a restaurant.
I didn't talk to any of them, but once you arrive, you're kind of corralled into this greenhouse area where with you and other people, and then they kind of like stagger the reservations every 5 minutes just so they can kind of have their little system in place.
Okay.
So it's just me and Carolyn sitting there, and it's like a bunch of tech bros from San Francisco. I saw this guy with a ponytail brought his own bottle of tequila.
Jesus Christ.
To Noma.
Like, do you think he made it, or was it just some Casamigos?
No. It wasn't a bad bottle of tequila, but I forgot what the name was, but like it's a bottle I've seen before. And
he said I'm bringing 1942 to the club, is what he said.
It may be like one tick more thoughtful than 1942, not necessarily more amazing, but also you're giving this bottle of tequila to Rene Redzepi as a gift. I'm assuming.
I don't
think he was going to drink it. I think it was a gift.
It'd be really cool if he was like, I don't want the wine pairing. I brought my own bottle of tequila to make it through this fucking 5-hour fiasco. Maybe
We're doing Shaquilla tots, baby.
Okay, so you're corralled into you're sweating in the terrarium.
You're in the terrarium. It's humid, of course, because it's probably raining. So you're in there with all these people, and none of them are food lovers, and that's the kind of the bummer, because the only people, like the Venn diagram of people who deserve to be there and who can afford to be there, it's like 17 motherfuckers.
So you're saying that by the looks of the people in the terrarium, that no one was a true food lover. You could just see it in their eyes.
They're food lovers. They're food lovers, but they're not like it. At Noma, they like create this whole experience, and they spend so much time and thought into how every little thing works. And the only people, 99% of the people who can afford it, are only there as like food tourism, or like you're there to have a notch on the bedpost of like, yes, I did this. And they're filming every little thing. I'm walking down this hallway and I'm filming it, and here's this, and Renee's at a table, touching a table of some oligarch somewhere, and they're just filming the back of his head.
So they let you just bust off flicks and film. They don't care.
They don't like it, but they're not going to tell some crazy rich Asian lady with like a fucking $1 million necklace on, like, hey, can you stop filming Rene Redzepi's ass? Like, just eat the food, for Christ's sake.
I'm just surprised. I'm surprised they allow it so brazenly. It just seems like something it's easy to ban.
I'm sure they draw the line at somewhere.
I mean, I bet every night they have to scold somebody for taking it too far. Like I just caught you trying to siphon Renee's piss out of the toilet to wear it on a necklace. Like, you can't do that. Like, sit down. You have 5 more courses to go. Just please, can you relax?
You stole the lamp. We have it on camera.
Exactly. So
it's a room.
How long does it take to sit down?
Well, we waited maybe 15, 20 minutes past our reservation time to be seated. But I'm not complaining. Like, they give you like a delicious glass of pear cider, and you get to hang around and look at all these plants.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Delicious. Yeah.
No, it was delicious.
Nothing I want more than a pear cider.
I love pear. I love cider. Pear is a delicious fruit as long as it's perfectly ripe.
Hell no.
But yeah, so the other, if it's not like tech people and their wives who, are like 49 years old and behave like teenagers, because like they're only there because it's an opportunity for content.
Yes.
They're not there because they know anything that's going on. Every time they describe a dish, they're just like, weird. And they eat it and take a photo of it, and they don't know.
Sick.
So they don't. Every table you can tell, like, oh, we're just gonna drop this food, and you're just here to like take photos of everything, and you're here for the clout, and you're not here to enjoy it. And then other tables who appear to be like return customers who have been there a bunch of times, they're gonna take the time and be like, well, chef came up with this dish here, and they needed this, and blah blah blah, and you tell you the whole backstory, and it's kind of interesting. But when it's not those people, then it's the even worse people, which are like the head to toe Rick Owens kind of people.
Yes.
The people that have a billion requests, and the people that get up in the middle of the meal to like go talk on the phone for a half an hour. Just the worst kind of Balenciaga sock shoe people.
It's just interesting because I assumed that because of
crypto bros.
Yeah, but I just assumed because of the the extreme vibe of the whole thing that even bozos would kind of like behave a little bit out of like an understood respect for the craft of making people eat tomato water. but you're saying they can't fully acclimate.
Yeah, they partially, like, while they get up in the middle of the meal, like, everything is orchestrated and synchronized very specifically. Like, if you, like, I saw people get up to use the bathroom and then their server was like, no, because, like, we're about to drop course 14 on you, and, like, if you go to the bathroom, then your thing will get cold and we have to remake it, and that's going to make table 49 get backed up. Like,
okay,
so
sure.
I just saw a guy.
Everybody's in it together.
Yeah, it's a delicate ballet that is all happening, and it's very impressive to watch. And then some guys will just be like, I'm going to go walk. I'm just going to go take some selfies over there by this sick wall where there's broccoli on it, and if you're like a crypto billionaire, you're just going to do it. Because, like, what are you going to do? Kick me out?
What are you going to do?
That's what I thought.
Well, also, just to be clear, it is a prepay situation. They charge the card as soon as the reservation is confirmed.
Yes, it is a prepay, and then once you get there, then they're gonna do beverages, and that'll be sort of ordered a la carte day of.
Okay, so when you're ordering the beverages a la carte, is it like they have your card on file, or do you have to present the card and be charged like a normal?
At the end, you finish your meal, and then they sort of usher you gently into this bar area, which is a very beautiful kind of garden room. And then from there, you'll have, a cocktail, some more wine, coffee, tea, whatever. And our server was like, I'd love to invite you over here, and we'll give you a tour of the kitchen. And no trip to Copenhagen would be complete without having some lovely schnapps. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. And then we went and sat down, and he poured us a few glasses of schnapps, and definitely charged us for all those glasses of schnapps too. So
okay, so they basically
it's a business.
They upsell
it's a
you.
Business.
They upsell you the whole time, and under the guise of like nicety and customer service, where something you would assume would be gratis, like an opening bottle, like a glass of champagne at the beginning of the meal, some schnapps after the meal.
Right.
You're still getting hit you're still getting hit at the end.
Right. We're typically in America or another place when someone's like, we wanted to send over some bubbles at the beginning of the meal because we just think that no meal is complete without some bubbles. Would you disagree with that? No. Bubbles are good, and the bubbles will be $48 per glass.
I can't.
They charged for water there, which was a little...
What?
That was the one call out. That was a little psycho to me.
Oh, hold on, bro.
And,
they charge for what? Fuck this place. This shit is so corny. They charge for water, these corn balls. Why? Because did they harvest it or something? How did they like?
That was the bummer, because once I saw the bill and I was like, okay, we got charged for water at the most famous restaurant in the world. I guess it is what it is, but it's also like I was upset at myself for not going back and asking our server. Like, I'm assuming I'm placing the world's greatest water to my lips because this is Noma water. Like, what's the backstory on it? Sell me on it. Why you guys are charging me money for this? But
I'm sure it was.
that didn't work.
It once was swallowed by a shark and lived in its stomach, and it was regurgitated and filtered, in a way, and with a method that, like, obviously we couldn't even understand. Yeah, that is fucked up. So is the water served? Is it like bottled even or not? Or no? Is it like?
So it's in like it's just like small glasses or small cups, and then there's like a ceramic kind of jug carafe thing, and then they come over and they fill up your water very attentively. I mean, the service is truly insane. Like,
yeah,
no complaints. I'm not complaining about the water, but
I am. But
that was that was the one call out where I was like, I don't know the last time, hey, sparkling flat or tap kind of thing. It was just like, here's the water, and you must drink it. When you walk in, all the chefs stop cooking and sort of stand at attention, including Red Zeppi, and they all kind of like when you go into a sushi restaurant, when you go into sexy fish or sticks and sushi, and they
Arigato. Yeah.
They do that same kind of vibe, and it is a little daunting, but it makes you feel important and special, which I guess is the point. And I walked in, and I kind of looked Renee dead in the eyes, in a way of saying like, sorry for making fun of you for so many years, I guess.
I think Renee's laughing all the way to the bank, and he ain't.
Renee's just fine. Renee's fine. He doesn't give a shit. But I still felt bad. I felt disrespectful being in another man's house after making fun of pine cones for so many days leading up to this experience.
Well, I mean, you paid handsomely for that, so I think he's probably happy about it. The more customers, the better.
He bent me over the salt block.
How many people are here, by the way? How many diners would you estimate are at the restaurant at one time?
So I think they do 2 seatings a night, and each one is like 85 people. And then I was talking to the guy. And then it's like, I don't know, like 20 courses per person. So he was just naming off like how many hundreds of dishes that they have to make every single night. It was a little crazy, but it's not a gigantic restaurant, and it's laid out beautifully, and every little thing is perfect.
Another question: are the servers hot?
I'm gonna go with no, but also the server, like all the staff is like this big team, so like the cooks are bringing you out dishes, and
I see.
It's you don't have just one person that is your server all night.
Of course, it's a concert. It's a concert of movement.
It is a concert of movement.
Everyone from the first chair violinist to the timpani drummer in the back touches the table.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah,
I understand.
And
I understand. That's beautiful.
I wanted to clear something up because I posted a picture of some pills at Noma. Carolyn was having a bit of an allergy attack because you're kind of out there amongst the pollen and the bees and the fennel blossoms and everything, and she was getting her grown man sneeze on, and I was like, well, we can. This is a 3 Michelin star restaurant. We can just ask them if they have some allergy meds or something like that. And she's like, no, that's crazy. And then I asked the server, and I was like, she is having some allergies. He's like, oh yes, of course. And then came back with the small plate with 2 whatever Zyrtec sitting on there, and Carolyn took one, and then he grabbed the plate and took it back to the back of house and said, if you require another one, just let us know.
Okay, all right, okay, now, okay, this is not going to bring me back from the water thing, but this is very cool. It's very cool. Very, very cool.
So Renee did touch tables and said hi to some people. He did not say hi to us, which is fine. It seemed like he was only kind of touching the high dollar folks. He was wearing Yeezy slides.
Come on, bro.
He was wearing Yeezy slides, and he did have a candy style bracelet. Kandi.
Are you saying that the greatest chef in the world was at the Eras tour? Is this a full circle moment for us?
Well, I don't think it was. It was a very low profile candy bracelet. It was just one. I don't know what the words were spelling out, but it's like the typical like white beads with letters on them, and it'll say, I
mean, he's got kids, I'm sure. So
yeah, I'm sure he's got kids, and I'm sure it was a gift from somebody very cool and important. I'm sure Harry Styles gave it to him or something like that.
It doesn't make it okay, but that's great.
Doesn't make it okay.
So did you eat
the Yeezy slide? I mean, he's living in comfort.
Did you eat anything that tasted good?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how many courses are we looking at?
I would say maybe 15 to 20.
Okay, because you lose track.
I was not full at the end of the meal. That's for sure.
No, definitely not. Do they do anything normal? Like, do you get bread with butter and shit, or is it all freak show?
Well, that I'm glad you brought that up, because we sort of we sent some ripples through the time-space continuum of this symphonic dance. So we were somebody sent me a message on Instagram or Twitter, something like that, about a few days ago, after I had announced and started bragging that I got a res at Noma.
Announced. After I'd made the announcement that I did receive an opportunity to pay for dinner at Noma.
I did a thing, y'all. And again, thank you, a million thank yous to Clemens, is his name, I guess?
Clement?
For hooking up the res. He's an absolute legend, and sorry for saying bad things.
No, that's pro shit. No,
pro shit. So a person sent me a message and said like, "Hey, by the way, the bread and butter at Noma is they'll give you free refills on it." And I was like, "Okay," and I was like, it almost read like a joke.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, like every restaurant and hotel and gas station and IKEA in Copenhagen has bread and butter everywhere. The whole city runs on it. There's bakeries everywhere. It's all over the place, and it's amazing bread and butter. So it wasn't that odd, but it was like, okay, I don't know if Noma is the kind of place where you sit down and they just honk down the bread basket in the first course, and you just, let me get more, and then it throws off. So they're very into, we have a whole sequence of things, and every dish happens at this time for this reason, and we have tested it thousands of times, and we believe that if you eat this meal in this order, you will be our ideal version of satiated. And that is true. I did feel that way. I was full and satiated, but I wasn't like Louis C.K. full. Like I didn't hate myself. I didn't feel the need to go get McDonald's after or anything like that. I really did feel perfect. And then that night I slept really well, and my body almost felt like it was thanking me for putting all of these things
for nourishing.
Because I ate everything that was local, and people will say like if you have allergies or you feel bad, like local honey will help with that. Like so I felt like every vegetable and plant and seed and twig and nut and berry in the area, and the best version that you can get on this planet was all kind of swimming inside of my body, and my body was sort of thanking me for it.
Okay. I like that. Do you think it's a possibility?
Yeah, and that was like the one thing that I was like, oh, Chris would kind of like this, because it was all vegetarian.
No, I think that I'm just wondering if it's possible your body was actually just giving up after 6 hours of being seated and like getting there in the rain. But I was feeling these feelings and having these realizations long after I had left. Like, no, that sounds great. Like, that sounds very
maybe
cool.
Even the next day.
No, that's very cool.
And that alone had some interesting sort of inherent value to it. But so back to the bread and butter. So we're about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through this meal. We're on, let's say, we're touching hour 4 pretty soon.
Okay.
And most of the savory's done. He's bringing out the Japanese plum wine.
Oh,
that's been in the cellar since '99.
So hold on, we did do the wine pairing.
We did not do the wine pairing, but I still ended up spending about $600 on alcohol, and I didn't get drunk. But we did not do the wine pairing.
Okay.
I found a way to drop an extra $600 on wine.
Okay.
Almost by myself, and the 6 glasses of complimentary schnapps did also hit for a nice little chunk right there. So the two kind of oligarch guys sitting next to me, I had seen them dipping some bread into butter, and they were like they had sat like right before us, so they were like maybe 1 or 2 courses ahead of us. And I was like, wait a minute, is this the bread and butter course? Like this. I was wondering, like, is this ever going to come, or do you have to ask for it?
Yeah.
Was sort of the question going on. So I saw that the table next to it, and I was like, hey, guy, to my server, who's awesome, loved him, Romanian chap. And I was like, so is the bread and butter, is that like a course that comes out, or is that something that you have to ask for? And his whole world kind of stopped for a second.
Oh, God.
Because the savory was done, and he was about to bring out, we were going to move on to sweets.
Sweet.
And basically, once I said that, it was sort of like pulling the like smash in case of emergency kind of thing, and everything had to stop. So I was like, do you guys have bread and butter? Can I bring it out? And he's like, yes, of course. And then we're like, okay, I don't know if that's good or that's bad. I don't know if that means the dream is over or the dream has just begun. And we were sitting there staring at each other like, did we just do a bad thing by asking for bread?
It sounds like he didn't respond well.
The answer is never no. at Noma or at any.
They can't say no.
At any 3 Michelin star restaurant. The answer is never no.
Yeah.
Which can be a good thing and a bad thing. So we're sitting there, Carolyn and I are kind of staring at each other, a little bit puzzled, like, oh God, did we just fuck everything up by doing this? And then two people come over and take our spoons and then immediately retreat. I'm like, well, that's a very bad sign. That's a very bad sign. And then, so our dessert spoons have been removed, not angrily, but in a swift kind of like, well,
hastily.
Yeah, it felt as if I went to a pizza place in the heart of Napoli, and I asked for ranch dressing. Is almost the feeling that I felt.
Yeah.
And then as our mind is still spinning after the spoons being taken away, literally 15 seconds later, 2 pieces of perfectly toasted bread and a perfectly warm thing of cultured butter hit the table with a knife that's very nice. And I don't know how it was just sitting in the wings ready to go or something like that, but it happened very quickly. And it was obviously the best thing that we ate, the whole thing, because nothing is ever better than really good bread and really good butter. And this was like, and I was glad that it happened because it sort of woke me up from this dream. But you just stop everything, and I was asking him questions about the bread and the butter, and I was sort of realizing that the bread and the butter is like this necessary evil thing. They might not like serving it because it's the one thing that they don't make there. The bread or the butter. Oh, both of them are outsourced.
Why? I mean, making bread is not difficult. Many restaurants do it. Do you think they just don't care to do it or have the capacity?
The guy who does tartine, like, he formed a bakery in partnership with Rene Redzepi, so it's like sort of theirs, but it's not like made in-house every day. Like, it's sent in from this bakery, and it really was amazing. But when you're working at Noma, you're sort of there to get recognition and credit and learn, how to become an amazing chef. And a lot of that comes with credit. Like, every chef wants to have credit for a dish. Like, hey, I invented this. I didn't make the best steak in the world, but I created a new way to make steak, and that puts me on the map. And everyone that works there is very proud of the work they've done, and they're excited to tell you about everything. And it's really sweet to watch. It's really cool, but the bread and butter is the one thing where they can't take credit for.
And it was smacking.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it really is like cheating, It's like typing in the code on Call of Duty and you have unlimited lives and unlimited ammo. It's like, of course, this perfectly toasted, perfect bread and perfect butter with the perfect amount of salt is going to be fantastic. You just can't compete.
Well, I mean, after what you've had to endure, it's probably just so simple and refreshing to the palate that it does feel like it could throw the whole thing off course.
Yeah, I mean, because of him saying, like, we've created this meal to feel as if, like, we did not need bread and butter on this menu, because every dish on there is there for a reason and a time and a place, and it will disrupt how full you get from eating there. If you fuck it up with a couple slices of sourdough, it's going to throw off our flour soup.
Okay. So besides bread and butter, what was the best thing? Was it actually something us laymen's can understand, or is it beyond my level of comprehension?
Yeah, I'll run through some highlights. So the very first thing were these king oyster mushrooms that were like sliced into these rectangles and scored in like a crosshatch pattern, like how you might score a calamari. We see people cut the calamari into like a little crosshatch thing.
Yeah.
It looked like that, and that was cooked and served with a little bowl of like hazelnut milk.
Oh, great!
But it was the first dish, so it's meant to be a whisper into the journey. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there may have been an ant in there. We couldn't figure out what it was, but
Okay.
it was a very mild flavor, very mild texture, very gentle dish. That was really special. And then they did their own version of kind of like a Mary's Gone cracker everything bagel thing. It was just like a seeded cracker that had some golden beets on it with like this smoked pumpkin thingy, but they made just the best seeded cracker I've ever had in my life. It was crazy. I could have eaten a zillion of those.
Okay.
They had this barley cake that was inside of. It was in the shape of like a razor clam, like a thin, kind of cylindrical thing, wrapped in some kind of leaf thingy. But it was a barley cake which tasted essentially like tempeh bacon.
Okay, I'm back.
It was like eating the best tempeh, barbecued tempeh. You know when you get like a barbecued tempeh sandwich or something like that at a slutty vegan type restaurant?
Yeah, sure.
They make their own cake out of barley, I guess, and it's fermented and however you would make a tofu or tempeh, and then they like grill it and glaze it with their special sauces, rich with umami and mushroom powder, dashi reductions. But just eating that, I'm like, you guys could just open up a vegan fast food restaurant and serve this between two pieces of bread, and it would be crazy. Like, that was an amazing flavor. It was much better than the pine cone. The pine cone tastes just like a pine cone.
Oh, it doesn't. It's not steeped in something to give it like a more pleasing flavor.
I think it may have had some things. It was a young pine cone, like a young coconut, so the flesh was more forgiving than a harder, crunchy pine cone. It's a tiny little thing, and it was served on a stick, and it had some other leaf. But to me, have you ever had a nopales, like a cactus taco?
I have, actually. Yes.
I'm not a big fan of it, but this tasted sort of like the final boss of a nopales, like a deep añejo, rich, like the Rolls Royce of nopales is kind of what that tasted like. Carolyn's favorite thing was a take on like an onion soup, which was like an entire onion cut in half and then filled with like an onion gelée kind of thing with some sunflower seeds and some whipped cream. It was just like the 2 bites, but the greatest onion soup you've ever had in your entire life.
That's something
sick.
That's something I've never thought about. Like, what would the greatest onion soup be like? But it sounds cool.
Because when you have an onion soup, it's like this dark, rich, thick, kind of greasy, oily. You eat 2 bites and you're like, I'm good, and it'll have like melted cheese and croutons on it. It's like a heavy, fat boy, rich kind of thing. And this takes all of that and then it rounds it out with, some like fennel pollen and literally just whipped cream, but very lightly whipped cream. And it just rounds it out. So it has the low end and the mid and the highs. It was all there. Obviously the allergy medication was delicious as well. worth it for my Instagram stories.
Is okay.
Unfortunately, the flour soup was delicious.
Oh,
that was crazy.
That kills me.
Chloe Wise said she cried eating that, and I sort of understand it.
Okay, I don't understand any of that. But what was the? So at the end of the day,
yeah,
you had a meal at this place that was cool. What's the ticket looking like with drinks, tax, tip?
What's
the check looking like?
The initial charge just to make the reservation and for 2 people to eat is like $1,200 American.
Okay.
And then on top of that, like I said, it was probably another with a little tip and the alcohol, maybe another $600 or $700.
So we're touching 2 bills for this experience.
We're a couple hairs under $2,000.
Okay.
And it was 5 hours long. We showed up at 6 p.m. and left at like midnight almost. We got a full tour of the kitchen. There's a lot of graffiti art in the kitchen.
Do you mean like Banksy or like
some of it literally just like graffiti, like somebody did like a piece on the brick wall in the kitchen, and then some of it is like hanged fine art that's graffiti inspired. This guy named Bates.
This seems
He did some. It's like a canvas with a throw up on it, and it's like distressed in like a sick street art kind of way.
oh my God, why is everything so bad? Jesus Christ.
Well, the art world is finicky. It moves around quickly, and certain styles go in and out. And I'm sure whenever that piece was put up there as a gift to the chef in exchange for a fine meal, it was one of the coolest, sickest things of all time, and not everything ages well,
Yeah, you're telling me. I look in the mirror every day. I just don't. This just doesn't sound fun to me. It doesn't sound like that great of an experience. I don't even care about the money because obviously you have to do it. Like this is your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't. As a person who doesn't like to spend money, do you feel like it was worth it for the experience, or do you feel like it was fine?
I don't think I'm rich enough yet to enjoy it yet.
Because you like felt it. You felt spending the money. If you don't feel spending the money, you can probably enjoy it a little more.
I felt it a little bit. I'm able to sort of suspend that feeling or worry of like, I'm going to buy the ticket, take the ride kind of thing. Like you getting a massage at Magic City that ended up being 8 dances long. You're like,
I guess I'm in. I guess I'm in for 220.
You got to do it.
Yeah, no,
you can't. The money is already out of your account, so just stop thinking about it.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
The way I try to look at it, but I really feel like you have to be rich as fuck in order to eat there without it being like just putting so much stress on it. Like it has to just be like another meal at Noma.
I see what you mean.
Versus like I've built up my entire life for this one single moment, and there's so much pressure and so much expectation on there. I completely understand why Rene Redzepi wants to close that restaurant and do something different, because it has become like you're sitting around there and you realize like this is a restaurant, but it is also so important to the country of Denmark and the city of Copenhagen.
Yeah, totally.
It's like the portal where every famous, rich, successful, interesting celebrity, business person, that's the portal to get them into this country. And he's the reason why they're all here, and he's the reason why this city is a food city. And he has created this thing that has just sort of grown so large that it's not real anymore.
It becomes your own worst enemy. Like success is can be crippling.
Yeah, but I mean it's a bummer to see, because you're like, I worked really hard and created the greatest, best restaurant in the world, and because of many reasons outside of your control.
Well, I wouldn't say outside.
You don't even want to hang out there.
I wouldn't say outside of his control. I think that like he owns it. He makes decisions. Like he knew what it was.
It's tough at a restaurant. It's not like you can gatekeep a nightclub. You can go to Bergheim and they'll say you can't come in because you're too stupid, ugly, and fat, and you dress bad. But at Noma, you don't have to
but
send
there
a
is.
fit pic to get in.
No, but there is. That's the whole thing. The gate is monetary.
Yeah.
But
that's the problem.
Which, unfortunately,
that's the problem there.
Yeah. But
the gate should never be monetary.
I mean, I think the only people that want to eat food like that are nerds and rich people, and that's exactly who goes there.
Yeah,
it's exactly what it was destined to be. Like a 6-hour, a $1,200 tasting menu. Even, I mean, that doesn't just not appeal to a lot of people. You know what I mean? It doesn't really appeal to people. So it is.
I do want to go back.
Really?
Yeah, I want to go back with, maybe a 4-top instead of like a romantic date night kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where my date has an allergy attack. I want it to be.
I would never do that. I would never do that to you, sweetheart. You know that. I would never do that to you.
Look, I'm coming from the allergy community. I feel like I'm able to speak on it.
I understand.
I've had allergies way longer than my wife has.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different.
Okay, I understand. I've actually, I mean, I don't need to bring it up, but I've actually had allergies longer than you. So if you could just kind of get this under control. We're at Noma, babe. Like we're at Noma. Like figure it out.
Jason, you've said a lot of low things in our relationship, but I think you reached a new one today. That's fucked up what you just did. But no, I want to be at a table with maybe 4 people, one of them being my wife as well, but with people who are just, I don't know, like curious minds, and I want to do drugs a little bit. Like I want to do like mushrooms, kind of, and be there with just 4 people who are really interesting to speak with and are all there for the ride. And I want to talk about each dish while it's happening, and I want to say things that other people are like, oh, actually, yeah, you're right, and it actually is like this, and I'm like, no, yeah, you're right, it's actually like, I want it to like spitball and turn into a whole thing.
A nightmare. This is truly a nightmare. But you want a 4-top to spitball and talk about every dish while you're on mushrooms? This is good luck finding those people to join you.
No, I got Eric Warheim. He's on deck. I just need rich people who do drugs and love food. There's many of those people in LA. Emil.
Yeah, Emil would go.
Maybe not Emil.
He would be like, oh, there's no full-bodied reds? Okay, well, I got my own in the Range Rover if you guys want me to go to the car. Him and Warheim both show up with so much wine. They're like, this is not gifts. We know this is for you guys. You're not slick. Like, it's all good. It's please.
I sent a DM. They said it was okay.
I DM'd. They said I could bring my own wine, my own brand.
They hearted it.
I'm glad you had this experience. Not only for you as a long time food lover, and restaurant goer.
I'm dead ass. I'm proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself.
Wow, you're proud of yourself for spending money to go to a restaurant. If that's the case, then I'm proud of myself every day, and that's something that's important. It's to pat myself on the back.
It's not just any restaurant, and it's not just any money. It's money that I made doing what I love, and I got to go to a very hard to get into restaurant that costs a lot of money because I worked hard, and it's something that. I would watch some documentary or some Netflix bullshit chef's table thingy, and it would just be like, oh, that's a cool restaurant. Must be crazy to go there. And obviously, my broke ass is never going to go there. I'm not even going to go to Amsterdam. Like, I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know if I can get into the country legally, let alone, maybe I'll sell a laptop and my CDJs, and one day I'll go there, whatever. Like, I went to it because I worked hard and did it. That's sick.
I would like for you to aim higher, but this is a great starting point, and I know
it's a great starting point.
I'm proud of you, and next time you can spend $1,000 to eat some shrubs, I hope you're able to do it, and that's what's important. that's what's important.
Thank you, Chris.
And I'm glad you guys had a good time, and I
didn't get drunk.
I'm glad to hear about
$600 on alcohol.
I'm glad to hear about it firsthand, honestly, because it is something that's so romanticized. And like you said in the beginning when we started talking about it, is like no one really says anything about it. Like, it's very vague and kind of positive, but kind of not. And it's just a very, I agree with you. I've never heard people talk about the same thing in such a similar way.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear TJ keep it 1,000.
Thank you. And like I said at the beginning of the program, I still plan on getting all of these thoughts and feelings out in the written form. So I'll go into more detail. This could be Substack territory, or who knows. I don't know if the Paris Review will want to kind of pick it up.
I don't think they have enough. They don't have enough bandwidth for the amount of words that you want to apply to this topic.
I'll have to pay for 17 extra pages.
You'll have to pay for hosting. You'll have to pay for web hosting. Yeah, like
is there a way I can get Hermes to do the back cover?
JSTOR, everybody with their JSTOR login, get ready because the white paper is coming. Bitch.
Yeah,
it's not. This ain't a game.
That's right.
No, look, it's been wonderful, Scandinavia, you beautiful country. And we've given you your area, excuse me, but we've given you a hard time. But overall, I would say it's a beautiful place. Terrible weather, terrible service, too many bikes, but otherwise, I mean, breathtaking. And I will be back if someone pays for it.
Yeah, we'll be back here next year in the land where if you're not drunk, life is bad.
I mean, totally. But thank you again to Nico and Palms for hosting us and for having the show. We had a really good time. You can probably still buy a few of the things on the Palms website. Go do that.
Thank you to the British Style wrote up about the hats.
My friend Grace actually mentioned our hats in the Sunday Times magazine today, which is great. Love to see that.
Thanks, babes.
You'll get our full Copenhagen spot check in Vogue Scandinavia in the upcoming week or so. So you can prepare for that. All the spots.
Yeah, for all the people who said we need the Copenhagen list, TJ. All you have to do is go to vogue.dk in about 1.5 weeks, and it's all going to be there.
It's all there for you. Stop asking. It's
all there.
We're back in beautiful USA starting tomorrow with regularly scheduled programming. The guests are back. Some of you are excited, some of you are disappointed. But that's just how the cookie crumbles here at How Long Gone.
Yeah, unfortunately this might be the last time for another year where I do a Scandinavian voice. Sorry, guys. On this time tomorrow, 24 hours from now, I'll be on a.
It's over.
I'll have 3/4 of a Xanax bar inside of my body, and I'll be on a Delta One lie flat. Brought to you by Virgin.
Jason was able to master the accent in a way that you always impress me with your humor, but the accent you really nailed it. I'm not kidding. You really nailed it. And I'm impressed, and it's reason enough for me to come back to do more. Just to hear you do the accent is enough for me. That's all I need.
Said
to
no
enjoy
person who lives
beautiful,
here. But yes, thank you. Chris.
Rainy country. They deserve it. How Long Gone? HowLongGone.com is the website. We thank you guys for listening. I hope you're having a wonderful summer, and we'll be back next week with more podcasts.
Talk for listening.
Du sagde, baby, tag det roligt.